Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of ANRenthusiast. Here we're bringing you Round 2, Game 2 of that March 10th, 2016 Game Night Kit Tournament. And we've got MBN returning, no surprise there, lots of MBN around nowadays, but on the other side, Valencia. Valencia is such an interesting runner. She starts with a bigger deck than normal, loses a little bit of consistency, but such a powerful ability. That bad pub that you give to Corpse means you've got an extra credit every run to use for things like trashing, breaking ice, as well as cool tricks like blackmail, which I believe we see in that opening hand. So it looks like Mike's got to be careful. Mike electing to start with some money here, as all good Corps love to do. And then he's going to go straight on the offensive. He's going to say, I'm putting something in this server. I don't think you have the blackmail right now. You've got such a big deck. What are the chances in your opening hand? And even if you do, maybe that's a useless, something you can't trash, something with a huge trash cost. Maybe it's a trap, and now you've wasted your blackmail. You have to dig for another. So this will be an interesting decision to see if Nate goes for it. Nate doesn't believe him right off the bat. He's going to go ahead, get some money, play limited accounts, draw a card, just set up for the first turn. He doesn't think Mike will be that reckless. Still interesting, Nate didn't want to hit the hand, didn't want to hit the deck, see if he could find something, and it was that Astro Script, that super powerful first Astro Script that Mike definitely wanted to get out. Now he is in a pretty good spot. When you could score from hand, the blackmail decks are a lot less powerful. We do see HQ interface coming out here, so now if Mike's hiding agendas in the hand, he's going to have to defend it, because this isn't just your normal Anarch Access 1 card. He's going to be pounding this hand pretty hard. And we'll see him take some more money, prepare. He'll be able to trash whatever he finds, and hopefully he'll be hitting the deck pretty hard soon too. Doesn't want to let any other agenda slip into Mike's hand. And Mike does find that Beal into his hand. Will he go for the second score? Now it's a little more likely he's bluffing, so this bluff that he did first turn, this risky play, might actually pay off yet again, as he puts another card in the server to say, hey, maybe this is a caprice, maybe you can't even get in with a blackmail. Will Nate buy it this time, or will he get a second quick score, and will Mike be off to the races here? He's going to take the rest of the money, and he is going to blackmail in the server. We'll see what the upgrade is. The upgrade is just a Cyberdex. He was just bluffing on that one. He's going to leave it. Doesn't have a lot of viruses apparently, but there is a Beal in the server, so he was trying to score out really quickly, which is it's a little interesting because he could have scored that straight away with the Astro Script, so he wanted to say, hey, there's nothing good in that server, otherwise I would have scored it, right? And unfortunately his bluff doesn't pay off. And then we see Tally come out. Tally's an interesting card you don't see a lot. This keys you in. It might not be a normal deck, and Mike has to look at it just to be sure what it does. This card over there, it does draw. You can trash it to draw a card for each bad publicity the Corp has. And also whenever the Corp plays a gray or a black ops, you can give the Corp one bad publicity if you want to take a tag. But basically, this means that he's going to be going a little more all in on this bad pub strategy. He's not just giving you one and trying to blackmail, like a lot of Valencia decks do. He's going to have some cool other things. Maybe we'll see with that HQ interface of Raymond. Maybe we'll see iterant protesters. Who knows? We'll definitely see some interesting stuff, though. The run on HQ just sees the pop-up window, so he's going to be given some money, but he's still getting pretty free accesses to try and snipe out any agendas, and he does. Unfortunately, that agenda's not going to last too long for him. Not doing too much here, but he puts out a fan site. Okay, so he is going all in on this bad pub plan, as the only reason a Valencia deck wants that is for frame job, to give even more bad publicity to the Corp. So this could get pretty oppressive pretty quickly if he starts finding more agendas. Instead, Mike's just going to ice up, is very concerned about how porous HQ is. And going to money up as well, leaving the deck wide open. A medium and a couple runs would be just killer here. Instead, he's going to just check the top of R&D, draw some cards. He finds a breaker. He finds some more money, which he's going to play. I don't know if he needs all that money right now, but he's going to go for it. And we'll see if Mike can manage to erect a pretty good defense here, or if he's going to leave a lot of wide open space for Nate here. We really haven't seen anything to stop Nate from doing what he wants. An MBN Ice usually isn't too threatening. It might give you a tag or two, but generally if you have more money than them, you won't have anything too bad. A double pop-up window, so now that HQ is starting to get a little expensive, And it's just giving way too much money to the corp. He does find the Sand. Will he trash it? He's going to use the bad pub and 4 credits to trash that. And then, will he find an agenda? What else is he finding? Oh, he is going to encounter Archangel, and of course Mike will pay to make him encounter that, make him spend his money. He actually doesn't have enough money to get by it, so Archangel is going to return something to his hand, the most expensive thing he has. That HQ interface, and that makes Mike's hand a lot safer now, as there's not a lot of money on Nate's side, and he doesn't have that HQ interface. That is a big setback. Same old thing coming down, just to prepare for future blackmails. I don't think that Mike's deck, normally these new Angel of Souls don't have a way to ditch the bad pub, so that blackmail will still be a threat. And just more money coming down from Mike. He is preparing for when he finds something. He wants to make a move, so he'll be able to just throw some more. Oh, I'm sure that targeted marketing is probably naming blackmail right about now. Just give him a ton of money. Meanwhile, it looks like Nate's going to have to money up. He's going to take $2 to get to 6. And then, is this the liberated accounts coming down? It is. So he's going to say, okay, well, I don't have any money now, but in the future, I'm going to have all the money. So he's building his board state back up, but that Archangel was a big tempo swing in Mike's favor. And if he can draw into some agendas here, he might be looking at a pretty good spot. He is going to interns back that Sand in the server. Well, Nate doesn't have a lot of cash. And this is such a powerful move, because what does Nate do? Does Nate spend a blackmail just to not even get an agenda, just to get that Sand? But then if he doesn't, agendas are going to be scored out of hand, and this blackmail isn't going to be any good, because there's not going to be a server that he wants to blackmail into. He's kind of in a hard spot here. We'll see where he decides to go. Does he have any of that R&D pressure that might help him out so much? Then again, Mike has pretty much all his ice, so if he does have a hard piece of ice, then that would be rough, as Eater is shown off, but being trashed. Apparently doesn't need it right now. Crowder's good enough for him. Is Mike going to try to score straight out of this? He's going to put a Jackson Howard in the server and just try and draw into what he needs. Now this is interesting. He could put it in a lone server if he didn't want to keep it for future turns, but now this is another thing where it's an asset in the server. Do you really want to spend a blackmail to go and get it? But it's really accelerating Mike's game plan. So at this point, you almost have to. You have to blackmail in the server. You have to get the Jackson, get the Sand out of the way, just because he's going to have agendas in his hand at some point. He's drawn a lot of cards, and he'll cycle away everything but the ones he wants. So there's a good chance there's an Astro floating around in there, and he can start the chain up. We see I've had worse as Nate digs. We'll see exactly what he's trying to find here. He's not. It doesn't look like he's going for the money blackmail route. There is that Raymond, so we'll probably see that HQ interface come back out. Indeed, we do. Two HQ interfaces. So now every time the corp takes a bad pub, he can access 3 cards from the corp's hand, which means that if the corp scores again, Fansite goes into the score area. That means that he's probably got a frame job waiting that he can just use it to, whenever he thinks Mike has cards in his hand, hey, I'm going to access 3 cards from your hand and give you a bad pub. Very strong combination. A lot of setup, though. As you can see, basically that's his entire board at this point, besides a Corroder. More money coming out from Mike. I'm sure he wishes he could just get an agenda right now. Instead, he's building up the super server, all of upgrades. It's at least 3 upgrades in that server. I believe we saw the Cyberdex, the Sand, and you've got to assume the last one's going to be some defensive upgrade. A Caprice and an Ash, something of the sort. And indeed there were agendas pitched, as I'm pretty sure there were, as Mike goes ahead and pops that Jackson Howard to protect whatever was in archives. He's going to return an interns and 2 face down cards. Let him see lag time. Lag time, very interesting. Apparently he's got ice that is either really susceptible to Atman or really susceptible to some of the flat strength 3 breakers, and he wants to be able to boost that when he can. And then he's going to make a run on HQ afterwards. He's going to give Mike money. Hey Mike, you've got all the money in the world, So why don't I go ahead and give you $2 and spend $2, and I'm going to see 3 cards from your hand. I think you kept one agenda and pitched the rest. So here's him hoping. He sees the Cyberdex. He sees the Archangel, and of course Mike is going to pay for that. He's going to put some of those HQ interfaces back in the hand. This has been just devastating the board position of Nate, as he's had to replay these HQ interfaces over and over again. And the interns. There's nothing crazy there, but another fan site coming down. And we'll see Mike as he picks up another card. Apparently didn't trust his hand enough to keep an agenda, or maybe didn't even find one in his draws. That's always possible. He's going to protect R&D a little bit more, and his remote server a little bit more, and then just draw up, desperately digging for these agendas. Meanwhile, on the other side, Nate still trying to get his board position back up. He is going to use frame job, so he is going to sack an agenda. That's going to give a bad pub to Mike, as well as let him access 3 cards from his hand. There's that Cyberdex, and man, he should have spent the one to trash that a long time ago. And of course, you can't use, this isn't a run, so you can't use bad pub during this, but just getting that Cyberdex out of the hand means he could have seen more cards. It's super cheap to trash, so especially earlier when he was running with bad publicity. But 2 bad publicity now is starting to stack up, and these runs are getting pretty cheap. He pays nothing to get through those pop-up windows, even though he is giving Mike free money, if he does decide to go through. I do believe we see another agenda in Mike's hand peeking out over there. He's going to install it in the server instead of trying to fast advance it out. He thinks that he's got the defensive upgrades to protect this one. We'll see. That is a bold move. Apparently, it's not a Sansan because it's not an Astroscript. If it was, I'm sure he would just score it and get the extra counter. So this has to be a Beeler or other agenda. And he is going to go in, but he does butt heads against that Caprice. Now, he does have bad publicity, so he can spend tokens here. And we'll see if they match. They don't. Mike successfully defends it, and this is one of the weaknesses of this bad publicity deck, is it makes highly targeted runs, but if you get blocked by 1 or 2, because ice can't stop you, but upgrades definitely can, that hurts really badly. I mean, he can continue to go again with same old thing, but the issue comes out that he could just get stopped again and again. This is where Political Operative, that is not out yet but is going to come out soon, would be really handy. And here comes the Sansan. So he's rezzing the Sansan. I'm not sure he even needs to on this one. Advance, score. Alright, so he did trust that one to score out just naturally. That was pretty brave of him to trust one side game. Just one side game could have stolen that agenda and put the game back in Nate's favor. Instead, he goes ahead and he's putting another card down, so that's why he wanted the Sansan Res, so he could try and close out this game. Nate is now feeling the pressure. Does he have the other blackmail? No, he's not trusting that that's the game-winning agenda. And there we go. That is game. He's going to triple advance that, use 2 tokens on it, and get it up to 3 points. And that is game. Mike just accelerates after setting Nate back again and again and again with all these Archangels. And Nate could not find the time to get set up well enough as Mike just score after score after score. A little risky play with just bluffing out early and trying to protect that one agenda with just a Caprice. He knows blackmail was an option. There were same old things in play. He probably drew another one right now, but it pays off in the end as Mike takes game 2. So stay tuned, and we will bring you more awesome Netrunner soon.